Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in. Hi, everybody, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, the home of Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. This is the Business Talk Show. My name is al.cini, and Dr. JACALYN, welcome to your program.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. Thanks for opening up the show, Al.
That was actually more comfortable than I thought it was going to be. But which episode number is this?
99.
Whoa. And you know, if we're going to go from 99 to 100, we're going to do it in style with a terrific guest. I'm so much looking forward to talking to Fred, and I think it's about time. And that'll be fun. But before we do that, this is where I get to do what you normally do. What is going on with you, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK? How many programs now? How many initiatives? What's hot?
We have 26 shows a week now. Actually, it's 27. I just added one. 27. I have about 5 more that I'm going to add. And I also started as a talking head, so I'm excited about that. You're coming back, doing your talking head series. Janetta Barry is starting as a talking head. And so we've got a lot going on here on the channel. And what I'm really encouraging all of our team members is to take a step out of their comfort zone and get yourself on camera. So I want people to have their own shows because it's not about me. That's why it's USA Global TV. It used to be Rapping with Dr. JACALYN, as you know, but now it's much bigger than that. And then on the other side, for my Dr. JACALYN LLC business, I'm teaching people how to listen at an elevated level, which you know, because you gave us a beautiful testimonial. And I've got a series of 7 books coming out, which are called, I have a graphic, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. That's the book. And then each of the animals on the cover represents a human being who is an elevated listener. So maybe Al will get you in on one of the next books coming out. And then finally, I've written a song with Madeline Chan. It's called What Was I Thinking Back Then? And that will be released very soon. So thanks for asking. That's great.
You know, I know our subject today is leadership, and we're going to be talking in a few minutes to Fred Kienle, who's written a book on that. And one of the points he makes, among several valuable points he makes, is the point that leadership is pretty much where you find it. It's in everybody. And the challenge of leadership isn't to get people to do what you want. It's to articulate what the right thing is to do and then inspire them to do that. Because at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants. I'm only bringing this up because you are the leader of a team of people who have come to follow the North Star that you've set for them, USA Global TV, because we all believe that that'll make us better versions of ourselves. And for that, you should be congratulated, because to me, that's leadership. And I think to Fred, too. Fred Kienle, when he comes out, we'll talk about that.
Well, thank you, Al. I appreciate that. Yeah. And by the way, Fred was also a co-host here on the channel. We did a number of shows together. It was a lot of fun. I tried to convince him to keep going, but he's doing some other things. He was writing. And so I'm just glad that he's back as a guest today.
He's a little busy. And maybe we should bring him out. We've been talking behind his back now for too long.
Let's welcome him to this show.
Great.
Hi, Fred.
Fred.
JACALYN, nice to see you again. Al, it's always a pleasure to see the two of you guys. Got big smiles and happy attitudes.
Well, you know, and that whole idea, I know the title of your book is Leadership is an Attitude. Mm-hmm. You know, leadership with attitude.
Yes, it is.
And I want to talk about the book. But before that, I want to ask you a general question. What the hell does a musician know about leadership?
Okay. Well, I was a musician for about 25 years. Still play music. I still love to do that. But in 1963, I started a little group. There was 3 guys. We were called the Torquettes.
Mm-hmm.
What a weird name. It means to twist in Latin and French. It was a great name. But those three guys were pretty easy to hold together. There's three of us. If you ever met most musicians, we kind of have an ego problem. And when we grew and there became 5 people in the group, plus a group, or maybe a manager now and then, keeping those egos intact while letting them be creative and not getting upset yourself, you had to be juggling a whole lot of emotions. You know, back then, I was like 19, 20, 21 years old. It was pretty tough to do all that stuff. So by being a musician for all that time, you learn how to deal with people, audiences. You play in a lot of these clubs, and some of them were really some raunchy clubs, and some of them were really high class. But you still have the notable drunk that sits out there and heckles you and all that. You need to learn how to deal with these people. And dealing with people is the key to leadership. To know who they are, how to handle. Listening is a skill, and I still struggle with listening skills. Y'all were talking about listening earlier. You have a bunch of listening programs coming up, Jackie, about how to teach people how to listen better and pay attention. I still struggle with that. In fact, listening is almost a full chapter in my first book, Success with an Attitude. So listening is a key part of leadership skills. So that's being a musician taught me a heck of a lot about being a leader, or at least learning some of the basic skills about it.
I was looking over Leadership with an Attitude, and it's available on Amazon. So either an author search or Leadership with an Attitude, the title search.
By Fred Kienle, right.
By Fred Kienle.
One key point I want to tell your listeners out there, for a limited time only, I just put my ebook out last week, and I'm doing it as a special for only $2.99 on a virtual ebook on Amazon.
That's great. Well, what really impressed me about the book is it's not about the traditional misconception of leadership at all.
No.
It reminds me of, there was Dale Carnegie once said that the secret to getting anybody to do anything is to get them to want to do it.
They want to do it.
And if you don't go through that, if you don't think about what motivates the person you're trying to lead, and then use that to inspire them to do what needs to be done, then you're not a leader. You're just somebody who makes a lot of noise.
Right. Well, there's a distinction between managers, directors, those people. Managers manage, directors direct, CEOs kind of put a main statement out there, but leaders actually help encourage and inspire and create other leaders out of other people in I don't care what position they are. They could be a janitor, they could be working on the yard outside. They can create this leadership in those people all the way up through the ranks.
I just love that message. What do you think, Dr. Jacalyn?
Fred, I love what you're doing, and the fact that you and I have worked together before. You have this incredible energy about you. And what I'd like to talk about when it comes to leadership, it used to be that we were going to work until a certain age. And now that's off the table. We can work for our entire lives if we want, if we have the right attitude. And you really exemplify that. You have a tremendous perspective of positivity in everything that you do. Can you share more about how attitude is aligned to your leadership?
Good question.
When people feel that you're enjoying what you're doing, that everything you do, even through critical times, even through an emergency, they come up in work, they come up at home. We face tribulations throughout our whole life, but when they see a person doing it with a positive attitude, looking for the silver lining instead of just, oh my God, what are we going to do now? Throw up your hands and. If you get somebody said, okay, we got a problem here. My gosh, what can we do? You got a solution? Come on, guys, let's help me out here. Let's stay positive. Look for the silver lining. Put on the rose-colored glasses, if you will. Let's find a way out of this. Into the next. Let's go. Let's get through this and find the right solutions. If you have the right attitude, it's easier to come up with that. Your mind is clearer. You have better concept of what some of the solutions might be, instead of just being gloom and doom and just giving up and throwing up your hands and I don't know what to do.
Fred, Fred, thank you for sharing that. I do have a follow-up, which is when we have this positive attitude, I wake up every day and I'm grateful that I can see, that I can breathe, and that I'm here. And I just start thanking God for so many things. There comes a time when people are not always in alignment with what we're doing. And so you mentioned as a musician, people heckling, as a leader, people not following along, people not rowing in the same direction. How does a leader address these types of situations and still maintain that positive attitude when dealing with negative energy and low level vibrations from people?
Yeah. Wow, that's a loaded question with many facets in it. And the way to handle that, I tell you, is you're right. Sometimes, everybody's, oh, Fred, you're always in a good mood. No, I'm not. I have my moments just like anybody. Things get to you. You walk by, you could just be walking through the living room, the TV is on and it's news time. And by the time I get from the bedroom through the living room into the kitchen, I'm already angry just by listening to what was on that stupid television set, let alone hecklers and people that, like we were talking right before this broadcast about some people send in emails, they're always talking, they're criticizing, they're critical, they're beating up on us. They're always saying things. They do get to you sometimes. But sometimes you wake up, you're not feeling good, things aren't going right, you got financial problems, this problem, whatever they are. All of a sudden, the stress and pressure gets to you. You as a leader have to get up and change your attitude. And sometimes that's not easy. I got a list of positive affirmations up in my bathroom. In fact, Tom Ziegler just put out a real nice free thing. If you can get a hold of it, it's called Stronger, a Guide to Stronger Activities, Attitudes. And he's got a list of some positive affirmations you should say that just make you feel better. And to do, it's a guide. And so sometimes to bring yourself up, you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to become your own inspiring mentor. You have to get yourself up. And by saying these positive attitudes, saying, I do a lot of praying in the morning. I do repeat a lot of prayers. I bring myself up and I put my mind into that. So when I'm in this attitude that it's kind of slumped, if I bring myself up, when I start talking to these other people and I get around these other people, they get the energy from it. And it maybe not have started out that way for me, but now when I have this energy flowing, it does. It's like throwing that pebble in the pond and the ripples of positivity go out. The same with if you throw it in that negative rock in that pond, it goes out the same direction. So the more positive you are around the people you're around, the better results you'll get from any team, any group of people that say, yeah, he's right. I guess I better change my mind. What can we do? So I hope that answers that question.
It does. I think that was a great follow-up question. This angle of discussion is very, I guess, really interesting to me because the dynamics of getting the most out of people, bringing the best out of people, that to me is the essence of leadership. And I know, Dr. JACALYN, that's what you do with the team you've built. Mm-hmm. And Fred, among the many things that you do, you're an author, you're an entertainer, you're also a motivational speaker.
Yes.
So that on your LinkedIn profile, the subjects that you bring to the table as a speaker, what is it you talk about for people who might want to hire you?
Okay. Basically, there's about 7 of them. One is, of course, Health with an Attitude, which was my second attitude book. It's been doing extremely well. And I was doing live for about 6 years in front of a lot of the assisted living homes and retirement communities for a lot of our seniors. And because sometimes they get down, they get depressed, they start feeling sorry for themselves. They're not in their own home anymore. So I talked to them about how important their attitude is towards your health. And it's paramount. It is paramount. Your attitude toward your health. If you have a sorry attitude for a long, long time, it will affect your health drastically. So by doing that and sharing that, I've been able to watch and see people come up out of that, get a little healthier. It's not a cure-all, but it sure does help change your whole thing. And I tell a whole bunch of funny stories and jokes to any presentation I get. I don't care if it's safety. I don't care if it's faith. I don't care if it's leadership or health. I tell a bunch of funny stories and jokes because when you laugh and you're happy, all kinds of chemical changes take place in your body, which help, reduce stress, get blood flowing better, the endorphin, the melatonin, serotonin, all kinds of chemicals go to help build your body up and make you feel better. And so those kind of things that's what shared with all of the attitude things I do. I talk about safety. I love doing safety. I did a lot of safety training at TI and Raytheon. And if you ever taught an OSHA class, it's like watching paint dry. They're the most boring. Oh Lord, they're necessary, but they're so boring that I decided if I'm able to give safety lessons, I'm going to change it and make it more about you going home to your family with all your toes and fingers. God forbid you go to the hospital or the morgue. And it's all about how important it is about your attitude. It's not about the company. It's not about I was a supervisor in a lot of construction sites. I'd go on site and these guys would be putting on their safety gear. Here comes the boss. And I'll tell them, take them off. Well, I was supposed to wear them. I said, well, you weren't wearing them when I got here. What makes you think I'm going to believe you're going to wear them after I leave? It's not about me. It's about you going home to, yeah, I asked them, you have kids? Yeah. Do you play ball with them? Do you watch your kid go to a ballerina class? Yeah. So what happens if you lose these? You won't be able to play catch with your kid anymore. You're responsible to your kids and your family, your parents, your peers. It's not about companies and rules and regulations. It's about I'm responsible for safety. I don't care what company you're with. They put the rules and regulations. I'll have all kinds of stuff. But it's up to you as an individual to be responsible for your safety. Okay. And I do another one called Laughing with an Attitude, which is just nothing but a comedy routine. I love telling jokes and make them laugh. And then the other ones are like Faith with an Attitude. And it's not a Bible pounding beat you, here's the Torah we're going to study today about whatever verse something. It's about attitude about your faith. If your attitude is up, your faith is better. So I don't know. Everything I do is about attitude. And I was so lucky that Tom Ziegler dubbed me christened me as the attitude guru. And I hope I'm wearing that name proudly.
No, that's great. I'm also looking at your room behind you. There are a lot of pictures of ships. And it's the cover of your book.
I've been asked on several interviews. They say, "What's with the ship?"
Yeah. What's with the ships?
For one, it is to me is one of the most beautiful structures in the world. It's just magnificent. But the strength of it is it always shows power. Those tall sailing ships they were significantly an icon of power. And when those sails are filled up and that ship, it always moves forward. It can't go backwards. It has to move forward. And you realize the teamwork it takes to reset those sails, catch the wind, change direction when things happen, the storm changes, just like in life. You've got to adjust the sails quickly, and it takes a lot of teamwork. So with the powerful of these ships and these tall sailing ships, the teamwork it takes, always moving forward, never going backwards, that to me is the epitome of what's behind me. Tall sailing ships, I love them. I just love them.
And it's a core element of your book.
Yes.
Yeah, for me anyway, the metaphor of sailing is that you're using all the energy of nature to get where you want to go. Exactly. You're not paddling, you're not rowing, you're thinking and planning and anticipating. And that's the attitude of leadership, I think.
Right now, I think everybody's kind of realized that when in 2020, when COVID hit, every business, every entrepreneur, you, me, everybody had to pivot and learn how to, okay, what do I do now? I speak to people. What do I do? So I started looking around. Well, I got to do something. So I got in. I found out how to do Zoom. And I found out how to do this, and I got that on board and started getting better and better at it. And I've always been good at PowerPoints. I love doing PowerPoints, and they're fun PowerPoints. They're not just dull bullet points, a million of them that you have to memorize. They're fun. They're colorful, and they're funny.
Good.
Yeah, that's great. We're going to take a quick break. And Fred, when we come back, would you like to read from some of your books, one of your books?
Sure. Yeah. I'll grab something out of the latest one, Leadership. Okay.
Okay. Fantastic.
All right.
All right. We're going to go to break, and we'll be right back.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. We're going to go to break, and we'll be right back. All right. We're going to go to break, and we'll be right back. Okay. Fantastic. All right. We're going to go to break, and we'll be right back. Okay. Thanks. All right. We're going to go to break, and we'll be right back. Okay. Thanks.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio. Our show today is the Business Talk Show, episode 99. Woo! I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and I am joined by my co-host and friend, Mr. al.cini. Welcome back, Al.
Thanks for having me back, Doc. Appreciate it.
Well, it's great to have you. You know, every time we run the intro and I hear your voice, which is like 27 times a week, I always smile. So you have a great voice and a great presence. All right. So our guest today, Fred, is amazing. He has accomplished so much, and it's all because of his attitude, his perspective, his willingness to get up and move and help other people. So he is an author. He's a musician. He's an entertainer. You know what? He's a really great guy. Let's bring him back.
Okay.
I'm back again. Al, Jack, that's so nice to be you. You guys are so comfortable to be around. You know, it's really a pleasure to be around comfortable people like you. Make you feel good, have a smile on your face, not gloom and doom. Okay, we're back with our guys. So you guys are great. Let me tell you, Jack and Al, the music, like you said, being a musician, I love music. Music is the international language, and music is, you know, we talked about maybe how to change your attitude. Music is one of the key things about it. Can change your attitude in an instant. It can.
That really is, you know,
the intro song you guys do for your show here. I'm sitting here dancing.
I saw you dancing. You're like,
I was watching you dance along to Dr. JACALYN's music, which is pretty toe tapping, I have to say. But you know, I know Dr. JACALYN asked you to be maybe ready to read a little something from your book. Mm-hmm. But I have to ask you a question. What's on the Fred Kienle playlist? What do you listen to? If music changes your attitude, what music do you listen to do that?
Well, my biggest hero really started me out singing a lot was Buddy Holly. Way back in this, that's great. And I love Elvis. I love Neil Diamond songs. We used to do a lot of Neil Diamond. His key range, his vocal range was just perfect for me to sing. And it was just really, we did Neil Diamond songs very well. We were a house band for 13 years in a really prominent club in El Paso for about 13 years. And we did a lot of that. And we did all kinds of music. We did everything that the people liked. Because to me, I love all kinds of, I love classical. I love Glenn Miller and, you know, Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey and, you know, all those guys. Geez.
Oh, great.
So music is great.
Good.
Fred, I have a follow-up question. Sorry, just about music. Any recommendations you have for an electric keyboard?
Gosh, they got so many out there. I have a Yamaha keyboard. It's really nice. And I had a Casio before. Okay, Yamaha has what their tone value is. It's pretty close to, it can be real close to a real piano sometimes. If you got the right speakers, it can be really imitate a nice baby grand if you do it right.
It's in my cart on Amazon. So now that you said it, I'm going to go ahead with it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Yamaha's good. And it's got the two, and even the simple ones, inexpensive ones. That's what I have because I use them up too much. And guitar-wise, I love Fenders. I have a what they call a Starcaster. They have a new type of Starcaster out, but the Starcaster I have was only made for 4 years. It was in the 70s. And so I have one of the original ones like that. So yeah, Fender, I had a Stratocaster before, and this one's great.
I'd love for you to perform for us on the film and music show.
There you go. Yeah, I love. I tell you what, I'm a ham. My wife always says, "Yeah, my husband's such a ham. If he goes down in the dark, opens the refrigerator to get a snack, if the light comes on, he'll do a 20-minute show." Just because the light comes on, yeah. So,
well, you know, I just wanted to pop in with that. You really can change your attitude by listening to music.
Absolutely. Oh, I listen to it a lot of times in the morning. If you get a chance, go out and listen. Pull up. If you like Roy Orbison, pull up his Roy Orbison Black and White Nights. Okay, it's got Bruce Springsteen in the band. It's got Jackson Brown. It's got a ton of musicians. Katie Lane, singers, all group, and it does all of his songs. You want to get your mood lifted up? Listen to those songs. They're great, and it'll get you tapping your feet, singing along. The words come back to you, and he was one of my. To me, his songs were so different. His voice was so different. His range was uncanny, and he can bring you up with a real good song, or he can make you feel sad. You know, you can feel you get memories about puppy love and everything back then. Gee whiz, it's a great time.
That's great.
Good memories. And music in of itself is obviously a whole industry, and people don't know a lot about the back end of the music business, where it's not easy to make money. It's not easy to be discovered, and that's why so many musicians do it as a side gig as opposed to doing it full time.
Right, being on the road. So we went all over the place. We ended up in Chicago for 2 years, and I tell you what, we ended up we were living in a little bitty motel, 5 of us guys, in this one-room apartment because this guy gave it. I wrote a song called 33 Days on $10 Living. And we would go to this. We finally landed a gig. And for 2 weeks before we actually started the gig, we'd go up, set off side to the side of the stage because it was a restaurant club. And we played the softest music we could for an hour, just so they would feed us dinner. So that's tough out there.
Well, the average listener of music knows nothing, not just very little, but nothing about the back end of it and the difficulties of it, and the music publishing business, the distribution business. It's
terrible. It's cutthroat.
It just, I mean, whenever you see anybody on stage at a national event, you're looking at a lottery ticket winner. There aren't many of them. For every one that you see performing on stage, there are thousands that are just as good or better.
Very good talent. When we were on the road, met so much talent. Was like, oh my gosh, these guys are great.
There are some musicians out there
that never get some.
Just spectacular, better than the big names we see every day. Way better.
Some of them fantastic performers. Yeah, you're right, Al. You're right. Absolutely right.
Well, I'm throwing my hat into the ring, so
yeah, I understand. Yeah, you did. What was the name of that song? What was I thinking? What back then?
What was I thinking back then?
Where'd you get the name for that song? I love it.
Thank you. It's basically a look at my life of capitalism and designer shoes and bags and being in the circle that wasn't where I was meant to be. And I left it behind and found my way. So that's pretty much.
Well, I wish you great success with it. I wish you do. I think you're working with Madeline Kahn, right, on that?
Yeah, Chan.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, Chan. Okay, yeah. Chan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck with that. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So you're going to read for us now, Fred.
Let's hear a little bit from your book.
I kind of, right off the bat, chapter 1, it just starts out exactly what the whole flavor of the book is about. And let me read this part to you. It says, chapter 1, busting the myth that you got to be the boss to be a leader. And it says that most people equate leadership with being the president, CEO, or the boss of a company. Why? Well, I believe that it is an ingrained unconscious thought of what of all or who leaders really are, or thought, or what we think they're going to be. We tend to think that these people are leaders as being in high levels of business with a college degree and are the only ones that truly contribute to the direction and success of a company. Well, I'm here to tell you that these leaders would not be successful without the continuous efforts contributed by all of the people that they employ. I know for a fact that there are and or should be true leaders in every position of every company, business, or on this entire planet. I mean, from the janitor all the way up through the ranks to the head of the company, the CEOs, the presidents. You know, the sad reality is most employees tend to put themselves in a box, that their position is just a small cog in a larger wheel of the company, and where they work, it doesn't matter to them. This is a shame because every one of these employees could and should be a leader in their field and be proud of what they do. Here's a statement that I hope will hit home and make sense to all of those who read it. And this is, I got it bold here. It says, successful organizations need and want leaders at every level, giving direction, managing, and motivating everyone they touch. You know, what keeps an administrative assistant from being the best administrative assistant in the entire company? The answer is nothing. It is just, let me change the page here. It's just a state of mind and their views and attitude of their position in the company. I hear so many employees say things like, and I've heard them, you've heard them too, oh, I'm just a janitor here. What difference does I make? I'm just a construction worker. I just file the information they give me. It's no big deal. Mowing the lawn and trimming the bushes is all that I do. We in maintenance just keep the building running and up to date. That's all. As a manager, I just make sure that I follow the company's goals and directions. I'm just one of the company's many salespeople with a whole group of them. So you get the idea. In other words, every one of these jobs, and I'll end it with a statement, every one of these jobs have an open invitation to being more than just a position or employment. Each one is, in fact, a golden opportunity for that individual employee to excel and be a leader in their field. And that's what the book's all about, really.
That is
Well
great.
done,
I mean,
Fred.
they're such powerful concepts. And, you know, I know an awful lot of people who offer leadership training. I know an awful lot of people who deliver leadership training. I've been through leadership training. I should say survived it. And I think that probably the greatest contribution of your book, Leadership with an Attitude, I think what I like most about it is that you're a myth buster. What people think leadership is, what they believe they need to be in order to be better leaders, are myths. Generally, they're just broadly held misconceptions, and people are generally barking up the wrong tree when they think what they need to be is a boss.
Yeah, they don't.
And you know, I think that's the number one reason why people out there should find your book on Amazon and buy it right now.
Well, I appreciate that. Your point that, you know, a lot of these guys, because I knew several electricians that they wanted to push it. Well, you need to think about what you want to become other than just being in maintenance. And most of these guys, one guy says, I just want to be a good electrician. I don't want to be a boss. I don't want to be. And they move. And you've seen this all over and over again. They will take people and they will take them out of the zone where they're really good at, the level of expertise where they're at. And they'll try to move them into something until they get to the point that they're no longer effective and they become either dictators or they don't become good at them and they end up firing them because, oh, you're just not doing a good job. When they instead of left them, they could have been the best electrician they could be in their company and make that cog and that wheel work. And they move people into this position of it and you know, it's just no good anymore. And I've seen it over and over again.
Really important point. Very important point.
We do have a couple of comments from someone on Facebook. A Facebook user writes, nice show. Thank you. And I'm not sure if it's from the same person or not. Thank you for sharing this. So thank you for watching. If you'd like to type your name, and I think you're on Dr. JACALYN's Health and Wellness, but I'm not sure, but we'd love to hear from you. Your name and where you're watching from.
Those users, Facebook users, were Elon Musk and Jeff Zuckerberg. Just to let you know, they generally don't like to use their real names, but they love your book, Fred. And they
I
significantly
hope so.
endorsed it with those comments.
Well, I like comments. Even the ones that we were talking about earlier, even the ones that are criticizing or something. Sometimes if you look for the gem in there and not take it as an insult, because you know what, it doesn't stick on my shoulders like it used to. Oh, what do you say? Oh, that's just that jerk. One person out of 20 that like your stuff, one person can ruin your whole day. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but it's like, okay, let's go on. I'll move
Let it
forward.
go. But I do have a question for you, and it's one of the thorniest questions in leadership. You're running a team, you're doing the best you can to motivate them. In order to do that, people have to be at least open-minded, if not totally engaged in what you do. They have to at least be willing to be, if they can just find a reason for it. Your job as a leader is to give them that reason. Mm-hmm. But there are some people that work on some teams who just can never, ever love it enough or even like it enough to stop complaining about it constantly. And their coworkers have to listen to them bellyache about it continuously. What do you do if you're the leader and you know that's going on? Do you ignore it? Do you deal with it? What do you do?
You have to deal with it in one way. You can't ignore it, because that will create, well, I knew he didn't care, or they don't care what I think. And in one of the chapters in my book, I talk about Wally the cab driver. And it's a story that's been out there for quite some time. And he read a statement by, I think it was Dr. Wayne Dyer, and which is fabulous. He's had some fabulous books out and did a bunch of stuff on PBS. And one of the statements that this Wally the cab driver read was that, something to the fact, quit whining and complaining. Be an eagle. Be something more of what you do. Become a leader in what your field is. Basic. I don't remember the quote exactly. And Wally did that. And instead of just waiting in line with a bunch of other cab drivers, he did a couple of simple things. He said, what if, have you ever seen a typical cab? Remember the show Taxi? That's your typical cab driver, right? Mm-hmm. Smoking a cigar. And then he decided, well, I'm going to change my look. So he didn't get up and he just kind of put on a nice dress shirt, changed his appearance, kind of cleaned himself up, nice press shirt, wore a tie. And he also made a business card. And as he would stand in line at the airport waiting for his turn to pick up passengers, these people would come and they'd take him and they'd go off. When he got this business card and made his dress a little bit, he looked a little bit more, more like an eagle. He rose above the normal crowd. He'd hand this business card to him, and it had his mission statement on it. He'd say, read this while I put your bags in the car. And it said, I want to get you to your destination the fastest, the cheapest, and most comfortable way possible. And as they got into the car, he would say, oh, and if you want, I have a thermos jug full of coffee back there if you want a hot drink. I have some Cokes or some soft drinks and a little cooler there if you want one. I have a daily newspaper, and I have a map if you want to follow along, to your destination. And you know what? On the back of that business card, had his phone number. Guess who got more calls that didn't have to wait in line at the airport anymore? People were calling him from all over. Why? Because he offered a great service. He became that eagle. He rose above. And so he's still a taxi cab driver, but all the other taxi cab drivers looked at him and said, whoa, Wally, what are you doing? He became an example. And probably some more of those cab drivers did the same thing. That's what a leader does. He encourages, inspires other people to be better at what they do. I don't care what it is.
That's a great story with a great lesson. We learn by observing other people. When you see somebody obviously love what they do, you have to make a choice. If you do what they do, you either love it or you leave it.
You leave it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I can't love what this is, then I have to leave it. I can't just stay for the money.
Right.
And I think that's a great story and a great lesson. Thanks.
And Jackie is a great example of that lesson you just said. She didn't like what she was doing. She was unhappy with what she did. She took a risk and took off on this entrepreneurship. And look at the smile on her face. It's not just here. It's in her eyes. It's in her face everywhere. So she's doing something she loves to do. And you know what? She's an example to a whole bunch of people out here.
She is. She's the busiest person on television.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. And she loves every minute of what she does.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate both of you. I do. We've got some more comments. I hope I'm saying this right. Archana Sharma is watching from Mumbai, India. And I think you're booked in on a future show. I'm not sure which one. And she also writes great inspiration.
Fantastic.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank
And
you,
a
ma'am.
little bit about her background. Wow, look at all that she's accomplished. Actress, model, anchor, philanthropist, motivational speaker, peace ambassador, global ambassador for Nelson Mandela tribute. Wow, amazing. Amazing.
That's a lot.
Congratulations for all that you've accomplished. And thank you for watching our show. And if
Yes,
you're not
ma'am.
booked
Thank you.
in for an interview, please go over to usaglobaltv.com and book your session. Fred,
yes, ma'am.
what would you like to leave our audience with as we close out today?
Well, I'm going to just go back to my main mantra, and that is change your attitude, change your life. And by that, I mean, everybody has an ad. When I open up any of my speaking engagements, I said, how many of you all came in with an attitude? And some people raise their hands. So I said, no, wait. Everybody came in with one. I don't know if it was good or bad or indifferent, but you came in with one. What I try to, when you change your attitude to a positive thing, it'll change your life drastically. If you could try your darndest to keep positive, look for the silver lining, your life will change because you'll find solutions to problems you never thought you could do. You'll get through tribulations that you never thought you'd get through. It will just amazingly change your life. And it's not easy sometimes to do, but if you change your attitude, you can definitely change your entire life. Zig Ziglar said a quote that I love to use. It says, positive thinking or a positive attitude will not allow you to do everything, but it will allow you to do everything better than a negative attitude. And that's the absolute truth.
Very important. Great. Thanks.
Great
Fred.
way. Thank you. Great way to close out the show with that comment, Fred.
Well, I appreciate that very much. And again, I've encouraged, I've had a couple of business leaders, small companies and stuff. They've gone out and bought several of the books and passed them out to their employees, and they got a lot of nice feedback from that. So I love to make the money. Don't get me wrong, guys out there. I love it. But sure. If while I got the special offer, $2.99 for the e-edition, it's so easy to hook it up to their computers and just, give them all a copy of that for $2.99, and they can read it, on their computers. But even the book, it'll help change the culture of your company. If you're having a group of people with a bad attitude, it'll help them. So I'm really proud of the results I'm getting here and the feedback. So I'm thrilled. And people like you that help me, give me an opportunity to have a platform to say, hey guys, I think Tom Ziegler wrote this too. And in fact, it's in his thing here. It says, it talked about the difference between a legacy and just what you leave, all your possessions and stuff. Possessions only last for a little while. They'll go away. But a legacy is something that'll last a lifetime. And I hope these books like Success with an Attitude, Health with an Attitude, Leadership with an Attitude, and I hope to be working on this year one called Faith with an Attitude and get that published, will become a legacy. And somewhere 100 years from now, somebody will pick up this crazy book and say, what's this all about? And read it and get something out of it and grow from it.
Wow.
Thank you, Fred. And of course, we know that Arshana knows about it. Hopefully you'll go over to Amazon and download the ebook for $2.99. We would love that. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we need to close out the show. I do want to thank both of you. I was just thinking I have my book here, which I'm not pitching my book, but both of you wrote testimonials. So I thank you for that. Yeah, that's great. And Jackie, I thank you for doing the endorsement for my book that you did graciously. I was fine. And I hope you appreciate the one I sent for your book, because it is an incredible book. You people need to look at that book, because it's got a situation that somebody's out there, either they've gone through it or know somebody that's gone through it. And that book that Jackie wrote will help you. Oh my God, it will help you find an answer to whatever problem or issues you're faced with. It's an incredible compilation of a bunch of issues that are out there.
Great.
Thank you, kind sir. I appreciate it. All right, Fred, have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll look forward to seeing you back here on another one of our shows. And thank you again for all the social media postings that you do. You're constantly
Absolutely.
sharing. It really means a lot.
Okay. Well, it means a lot. What you do means a lot to the people out there, and they need to see it. And so it's like, again, that pebble in the pond. If you throw the pebble in, I get it, and I throw the pebble in, it more people you reach is the more people you change their lives, Jackie. Thank you, Al, too. You're doing some incredible work out too. I see your stuff that you do on your own out there, Al, and it's just some incredible stuff. I really appreciate
thank you, Fred. That's very kind of you, and thanks for all the interaction on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
It helps both of us. And,
yes, it does. Yeah.
We just have to keep that up, because if we don't have each other, who do we have?
Yeah, got your back, buddy.
Yeah, good.
You have me.
We do. Yeah, Dr. Jackson. Absolutely.
You guys are incredible hosts, and I appreciate the opportunity to be honored, and always a pleasure to talk to any of you guys. It's just really a great pleasure for you guys. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right.
Thank you again, Fred. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you listening to this guy. All right.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great
Al,
guy.
you're doing, I know, I love him. He's fabulous. And by the way, we have another comment from Arshana. God bless all. God bless you. Thank you. You're doing some amazing things. What people may not be aware of, if they haven't been watching all 99 of our episodes, is that you have your own show on RVN television. You have your own business. You are helping people in many ways. Tell us about your work, please, Al.
I'm hosting a couple of programs on RVN Television. That's rvntelevision.com. One of the programs is CEO Chat. That's on Fridays at 10:30. And another I'm involved in, I don't always host it, but occasionally co-host it with Lisa Manioki and Mark Iorio. It's called The Advocates, and it's about people who make a difference in the world. And that, for me, is always a fun subject with people who have a lot of energy and a lot of commitment. And so I do that on RVN. Also, we're delivering a team building experience now called BCAT for Teams. BCAT, for people who are just meeting me, stands for the Brand and Culture Alignment Toolkit. And it's about aligning people's attitudes, thank you, Fred, with their behavior, so that what they do every day manifests the things they feel about the work they do in a positive and kind of world-changing way. And the workshop for a team of, let's say, 2 people up to 20 people takes 2 hours. So we've taken everything we do and condensed it into a half-day experience for teams of any size. It's about helping the team find its North Star and coming up with the rules of the road that encourage them and inspire them to be better versions of themselves in the pursuit of that North Star every day at work. So that's what I'm doing, and I can be reached at al.cini at getbcat.com. Email is probably the best way to reach me.
Thank you, Mr. Cini, and I look forward to 100 episodes. What are we going to do to celebrate? We're actually not that far apart. We should meet and celebrate.
Episode 100 has to be a big deal. And somebody's actually, that's, if I'm not mistaken, that is President Biden calling in, begging for an opportunity to be on the program. But no, I'm sorry, President Biden. We're just too booked.
We're booked out.
We're just too booked. I'm sorry. You'll just have to go online, get in the queue like everybody else.
Exactly. So funny. I just want to close out with a couple of comments quickly. I want people to know, if you're following me on Facebook or you want to follow me, at the maximum number of followers under JACALYN KERBECK. So I'd really like you to go over to, I think I put it up here. If you can follow me on Dr. JACALYN and USA Global TV on Facebook, so that you can be informed of all the shows. The other thing is, we have 27 shows a week. So each show has a different topic, and we'd love to have you subscribe to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV, and you can find all of the shows there organized nicely in their playlist. Our next show is coming up, and Al, I hope you're going to get on this, and Fred should book on this as well. The show for men, by men, about men. It's called Wild at Heart Bonfire Talks. We have 6 men from across the world talking about issues that pertain to men. So I'd love to have you guys as guests with that. I'm actually not on the show. I'm only producing it. Roland Friedel is moderating it and hosting it himself. So
Roland's a great guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So we've got to go because he's waiting for me in the other studio. So Al, great to see you. Thank you, Fred.
Doc.
And we'll be back very soon. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye.